Papa me so too. Still I love you. Mommy be me ama dia chimpo me see. Still I love you. Kopim si e be yin kawa wo kumu di me see. Still I love you. Woyo woyo. Woyo woyo. Still I love you. Woyo woyo. Woyo woyo. Still I love you. Woyo woyo. Woyo woyo. Still I love you. Woyo woyo. Woyo woyo.
Okay, playtime is over. We shall start the same way we start all the time. Until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. And I'll say that again. Okay, folks, I said until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. Hello and welcome to the most opinionated hour on radio and the nation's thought-provoking hour. My name is Nana Nsakwal, the fourth chief of the only republic within the republic, the little republic of Edumasa, within the kingdom, within the bigger republic of Akwemo. Well, every Monday after news night, right here on Joy 99.7 FM, I bring a topic. Then I speak to it. In fact, I drive strongly my opinion and on whichever topic it is I bring. And then after, we can debate. And we have a very civil debate. You can agree with me, disagree with me, even though it's my opinion. We do it all agreeably. And today, I will need your full attention, as the subject matter is really, really open to debate. Oh yes, the subject matter is very open to debate, so I need your full attention. You have to give me that. And our topic today is Article of Confusion. The Article of Confusion. One term. No term, one term, or two terms. The Article of Confusion. No term, one term, or two terms. The legal guys out there, we shall need your help today. And I'm going to venture into law. The audacity of this show, it allows me to punch much, much higher than my weight. But that's the beauty about this show. Now, apart from your attention, I would also want you to think Ghana first. So you give me your attention, you think Ghana first. Otherwise, you would struggle with the show. And one more favor, no emotions. You don't bring any emotions on this subject. Purely on face value, purely common sense, purely the letter as you understand it. Leave your emotions and everything aside so that we can have a good debate. Folks, I saw a billboard which prompted this opinion. A billboard on the Kanda Highway. And it was that of Spio Gabra, one of the flag bearer aspirant for the NDC. And it read, vote Spio for 2 terms. Vote Spio for 2 terms. Now keep that in mind. And hear me out. There's a big probability that it's directed at His Excellency former President John Dramani Mahama, a flag bearer hopeful of the NDC. Folks, once upon a time, we had a fine gentleman as a president by name Professor Evans Atta Mills. God bless his soul. He was sworn in as president 7th January 2009. Stayed in power till 24th July 2012, and he was called to his maker. That very day, by the laws of the land, his vice president then, John Dramani Mahama, was sworn in as president to serve the remaining term as president before elections in December the same year. So he was vice president for 3 years and 7 months and president for 5 months. Folks, after a heated campaign, His Excellency John Mahama emerged as the winner to be president, beating the current president who was then the candidate for NPP. On the 7th of January 2013, John Mahama was sworn in to begin his elected term in office as president. And so he did. If you tuned in last week, I said in Ghana, election campaigns start right after swearing in, and this was no different. In fact, it was more relentless. December 2016, John Mahama became the first president to be defeated after 1 elected term. Please note that I'm using the word elected and term. Elected and term. Indeed, it was a massive defeat, also making its history with a margin of difference alone. So, 2017, January 7th, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was sworn in to start his first elected term as President of the Republic of Ghana. Soon after, the NDC went into campaign mode, nothing new. However, to the shock and amazement of many, rumors started coming out that the heavily defeated former president, John Mahama, is coming back to vie for the seat again in 2020. Truth be told, I was tired for him. Really? After such a heavy defeat? But you know what? You must give it to him for bravery. As they say, you must give him his 2 for bravery. So it's now official. He's picked his form. He sort of started his bid for the high office again. Folks, now from here onwards, it's going to be hypothetical. Since I'm going to talk a matter of law, it's going to be hypothetical. I have to repeat it. In order for me to explain the confusion of Article 66, 1 and 2 in our 1992 Constitution, it's all going to be hypothetical. Going forward as a country, we may have to relook. So, bear with me. Folks, if the NDC goes through the primary safely with no gunshots, as we're hearing in Kumasi, no gunshots, and they're able to go through their primaries safely, and John Mahama wins, then goes ahead to win the main elections in 2020, it's open knowledge that he has 1 more term to complete his 2 terms as president. We all assume, to the best of my knowledge, it's just an assumption that he's got 1 more term left, even though there's those who think he hasn't even qualified to come. But that's another case. A law that has never been broken, folks, this 2-term thing. All our presidents from Jerry Rawlings have been very good at it. None has ever tried to stay beyond what the law says. Historically, folks, it's been difficult for African leaders, or Ghanaian leaders, to leave power. So this law was, put in there to make it illegal to stay beyond your term. So it was really entrenched in there. So John Mahama is expected to do same. But did the Constitution really take John Mahama's situation into account? Should he become president come 2020? Has he really only gotten 1 term or 2 terms, or even no term as it is in court right now. Now, after this, you will realize we need the Supreme Court to intervene, maybe sooner rather than later. Folks, it will cost between $5 to $20 million to run a campaign to become president in this country. It doesn't come cheap. And folks, in Mahama's case, maybe, more, since he's been there before. People expect him to give more. Now, all this giving out of money, millions, just for 1 term, to prove what? And at what cost? So this is where I want us to get real. Well, I think he has seen that the law says what the law says. So let's go to the supreme law of the land and hear what it says. And in the 1992 Constitution of Ghana, Article 66, 1 and 2. Folks, it says the person elected as president shall, subject to clause 3 of this article, hold office for a term of 4 years, beginning from the date on which he is sworn in as president. A person shall not be elected to hold office as president of Ghana for more than 2 terms. Let me read it again. Article 66.1. A person elected as a president shall, subject to clause 3 of this article, hold office for a term of 4 years, beginning from the date on which he is sworn in as president. 2 says, a person shall not be elected to hold office as president of Ghana for more than 2 terms. Now, therein lies our assumption. But you and I know that assumption is not the law. So leave emotions out. Are we saying that John Mahama was sworn in 7 January 2013? For the school of thought that says he's got only 1 term left. Should he win 2020, are we saying that he was sworn in January 7th, 2013? Folks, in the absence of the word consecutive, I'm sure any good lawyer would say that my client was sworn in January 2021, and from that date, as per the Constitution, from when he was sworn in, he has 2 terms. He was not incumbent president either. He's come from outside the presidency, he's run his campaign, and now he has 2 terms as guaranteed by the vagueness of the supreme law. However, I think we as a people should ask ourselves, what do we want? Because the Americans did it once upon a time. Knowing the cost of elections, knowing the effect it has on our development, if a person loses elections after 1 term, should the law allow them to come back just to do 1 more term? Considering that 4 years is too short to make any meaningful change, should we allow just 1 term presidency, if granted at all? Or like the status quo now, after 1 term, if you go and you come, it's a fresh start. If you do 1 term and you go and come, it's a fresh start. Just like in the case, folks, of Vladimir Putin in Russia. And this is what their story is. Now listen to the Russian story. Now, this is a candidate for office must be a citizen of the Russian Federation who is at least 35 years old and has permanently resided in Russia for at least 10 years. The Constitution of Russia limits the election of 1 person to the presidency to 2 consecutive terms, since the Constitution contains no ruling on the total number of terms that a president may serve. A former president may seek re-election after sitting out a complete term. So check this out. Between 91 and 99, Boris Yeltsin was the president. He did his 8 years, then resigned. Vladimir Putin then came in from 99 to 2008. Did first and second term. That was 4 years. Did his 8 years. His term expired. Then Dmitry Medvedev also came and did 4 years. That's 2008 to 2012. Guess what? Vladimir Putin comes back from 2012 and he's there till now. Folks, after 2008, when Putin finished his term, he accepted the position of prime minister for 4 years, after which he came back. But this time, the term of office has been increased from 4 to 6 years. And he's now doing his 2 consecutive terms. And so he's going to run straight to 2024. We should learn and decide rather than assume. Folks, we should learn and decide rather than assume. Now, this is no different from what confronts us. In our case, by the lettering, it could be interpreted as the only time one's tenure for presidency ceases is when he or she has done 2 straight terms from when they were sworn in. So JM can come and do 1 term, lose elections, and still come back if the support is good for him. And you could, you won't be able to stop him. But let me repeat the Russian dilemma, folks. It says, the constitution of Russia limits the election of one person to the presidency to 2 consecutive terms. Since the constitution contains no ruling on the total number of terms that the president may serve, a former president may seek re-election after sitting out 1 complete term. Now, you may have thought that this was clear enough. After 2 terms, go home. Yes, he's gone home, but it doesn't say don't come back. So what does the 1992 Constitution mean by beginning from the day he was sworn in? Folks, what is our Constitution talking about? Beginning from when you were sworn in. You have 2 terms from when you were sworn in. Folks, in America, the yardstick of democracy, they've gone through it. Washington did 2 terms. And so the 2-term limited became an unwritten rule for all presidents. Until 1940, when Franklin Roosevelt won the 3rd term. And they realized that, hey, let's set up and change this thing because otherwise it could bring problems. So in 1947, they had to amend their constitution. And this is what it says. The American Constitution. It says that no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. And no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of president more than once. Clear. No person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. And no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of president more than once. So they clarified theirs. We, on the other hand, are saying a person elected as president shall subject to clause 3. Now, clause 3 means when the office is vacant. So all this clause 3 means when the office is vacant. So subject to if there's a vacancy in the presidential seat, a person shall be elected as president, subject to clause 3 of this article, holding office for a term of 4 years, beginning from the date on which he is sworn in as president. and a person shall not be elected to hold office as president for Ghana for more than 2 terms. And, folks, your term begins from the date you were sworn in. Your term begins from when you were sworn in. So I'm saying that speak now or forever hold your peace. Samson Ladi Ayenini, Martin Pebu, Victor Adawudu, Dr. Udro Osai, Lawyer Yao Pong. This is a legal roll call. Well, the number is 0302-216-541. Folks, the Americans have changed their constitution 27 times. Malaysians have done 57 times. I mean, considering when they got independence, that's like one every year, man. So maybe it is time for us to also be bold and brave to sit down and look at this document and make it work for us. But don't forget that there is Article 68 too. It says the president shall not, on leaving office as president, hold any office of profit or a monument except with the permission of Parliament in any establishment, either directly or indirectly, other than that of the state. But if he says that of the state, maybe running for president is that of the state. But this is the confusion that befalls us. Hello, who's on the phone?
Yeah, this is Kofi from Dansuman. Good evening, Anas.
Well, Kofi, let me hear you.
Yeah, good. Our constitution, remember, let's put on record that the New Patriotic Party boycotted the 1992 constitution. So it was just a one party that passed this constitution. So I think that is why we have these anomalies in the constitution, because it wasn't properly scrutinized. At the time, it was a military regime, and, you know, things ought to be done to favor whoever is there. So that is why we have some of these things. Now, whether we like it or not, also on one of your points, I mean, anybody can serve one term. On your argument, then I think that if you are saying someone serves 4 terms and to what effect, then it means that the constitution ought to be changed for the person to serve 10 years or 8 years straight ahead. But Akufo-Addo can lose this election. He may decide not to come again. So he can also serve only 4 years. But I don't think, I support your argument, but based on the constitution, that is what is prevailing now. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Shem is in Pram Pram. Hello, Shem.
Yeah, hello, Nana.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to make my own contribution.
Let me hear you.
You see, I'm also wondering, just like your narration you said, I wonder if 4 years is going to be enough to make any significant change for President John Mahama in the first place. And secondly, Ghana is the only country where we hold our constitution high esteem, as if it is something that cannot be like redundant, and it doesn't serve any purpose in this dispensation. When it comes to some clauses, when it comes to the president electing the police commander and certain people, I wonder if the constitution can be changed when it comes to certain aspects, so that our lives will be better. You get it? So me, I love the idea. It should be changed. You get it? We should write some certain things away and add what needs to be added. We need to learn. In this dispensation, we can't use obsolete something that has been there for years. It's serving a purpose too, but things are adding to it. Obviously, the president is exploiting that clause. He's exploiting it. And I thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. Well, my brother Ajimai is in Tema. Hello, Lawyer Ajimai. We are free, Lawyer Ajimai. Oh, did your line drop? 0302-216-541. I am saying, I'm arguing, you know, so you are the courthouse today, and I am arguing that, you know, my client is JM, that he has 2 terms. Should he win and come to power, from the date you swore him in, he has 2 terms. Hello, Stephen.
Yes, good evening.
Yes, Lawyer Stephen, help me out.
Yes, I mean, I think the solution here is to go to the Supreme Court for interpretation of this issue. Nobody has taken it upon himself to do that. And so that's why we are groping in what I call constitutional darkness. Going to the Supreme Court will bring clarity to some of these confusion in the Constitution about term limits and whether the former president can hold an office of profit, before he becomes a president for another term, and then finally leaves the scene. From 1992, we've been doing 8 years, 8 years, 8 years. And so we never thought that this day will come. So we need a Supreme Court here as soon as possible to clear all this doubts on our minds. Thank you very much.
Thank you. But so far, I'm listening to everyone. Everybody's assuming that should President Mahama come, he has only got one term. I'm saying he has 2 terms per the Constitution. So forget about this one term. And if you have any counter argument, let me know. I'm saying from the date he was sworn in per the Constitution, he's guaranteed, well, not guaranteed, but he's allowed 2 straight terms. But Ernest is in Ashiaman. Hello, lawyer Ernest.
Good evening.
Good evening, my brother.
In fact, this your issue had kept me thinking ever since you started this thing. And I was also thinking about another scenario.
Yeah.
Let's assume John Mahama comes 2020 and wins. Then 2024, Nana comes again and wins. Then Mahama thinks he hasn't gotten his 2 terms and his party said it's already popular.
Exactly.
He comes again and wins.
Yes, that's the one.
And Nana also said, I have age on my side, I'm popular, and they come, and all of them are getting just 4 years. What happens?
Well, that's what the law says. So unless we straighten it, that's what the law says. Per my understanding of the reading, unless somebody can tell me otherwise. But
yes.
The Constitution says from the date you were sworn in, you can't run more than 2 terms.
Yes. So the day he was sworn in, he ended that, it was abrogated in 4 years, and he comes again and he's being sworn in another time. So until we do something about this issue, one day we will be here, and this issue also will become an albatross. I believe one thing, anything that can come to the mind of a human being can happen. Just like you have thought of it, it can happen. Thank you.
Thank you too, my brother. Lawyer Isaac is in Accra. Hello, Isaac.
Hello, Nana, how are you?
I'm very good, Isaac.
And I think we are confusing issues by bringing in the Russian situation.
Okay.
The Russian constitution, when you read it, said consecutive.
Yeah.
Consecutive. Ours does not mention consecutive. It says 2 terms. Has John served 1 term already?
Yes.
Has he?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
So if he comes next year and wins and he serves another term, has he served 2 terms?
From when? Because he says from when he was sworn in as president.
From when he was sworn in 2021 or whatever.
Yeah, but when he's sworn in 2021, he hasn't even done 1 term. He's now going to do 1 and 2 terms.
No. 2012, he won, and 2013, he was sworn in. That's 1 term. Has he done 1 term already?
Well, not in 2021. He wouldn't have done 1 term. He's now going to start.
No. What I'm saying is, he was sworn in 2013, wasn't he?
Yeah, so in 2021, are you going to use his 2013 swearing in?
No, the Constitution says 2 terms. No one should serve for 2 terms, for more than 2 terms.
That I agree.
And I'm saying that, has he served 1 term already?
Yes.
Good. So if he's sworn in again in 2021, and he serves the 4 years, has he served the 2nd term?
No, he hasn't.
Has he served the 2nd term?
No, because he's now swearing in 2021.
Yeah, so when he's sworn in 2021,
unless in 2021 you don't swear him in. Because his term begins from when he was sworn in as president.
And that would be January 7, 2021, wouldn't it?
That's it.
And he served for 4 years.
No, at
Isn't that the term?
No, at that time, you can't go and use his 2013 as a swearing-in thing. But that's not when he won. That's not when he won as president.
And he won 20, next year we are going to have elections. And when he wins, he's going to be sworn in, isn't he?
Exactly.
And he's going to do a term. Isn't he going to do a term?
Well, from that date, that's it. From beginning of when he was sworn in. That's not what I'm saying.
No, what I'm saying. From the day he was sworn in, will he do a term or won't do a term? He will do a term.
Yes, but he's guaranteed 2 terms. From then, he has to do 2 terms.
So that will be the 2nd term. Okay. You see, ours doesn't talk about consecutive. The Russian one you mentioned said consecutive.
You see, but even with the consecutive one, they have problems because it doesn't say 1 or 2. So after you've done your 2 terms, Putin went home and came back. So even with them, as clear as it is, they have problem.
Go on.
Yeah, I say even with the Russian one, as clear as it is, one can do 2 straight terms, go home and come back, as Putin has.
Yes, because the Russian constitution says that after you've done 2 consecutive terms, you can't come back. It doesn't say so. But in our case, it says you can't do more than 2 terms, whether consecutive or not, because our constitution doesn't say consecutive.
But then it says, so what about from when you were sworn in? How do we tackle that? From the date you were sworn in as president?
Go back to constitution. You see that it talks about the term. The term starts when you were sworn in. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't say that the 2 terms start from the time you are sworn in. It says that the time you are sworn in, that's the beginning of a term. The time you are sworn in, 7th January, is the beginning of a term.
So if you go on to 2, right, it says the person shall not be elected to hold office as president of Ghana for more than 2 terms.
Exactly. John has done 1 term already. We agree on that.
So, but when are you now swearing him in?
7th January 2021.
Well, that's the beginning of his term.
Pardon?
That's the beginning of his term as president.
Yes. So when he completes that will be a 2nd term as president.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, Samson is on the phone. Hello, Samson.
Yes, sir, my boss.
Let me hear you.
And please, good evening.
Good evening.
And it's my opinion. NDC should not be encouraged in.
0302216541. Today we are all in a courtroom. We are all debating. So there's one school of thought that says, oh no, your term begins from whenever it is that you ever run the term. I'm saying that your term begins from when you got sworn in. But lawyer Francis is on the phone. Hello, Francis.
From Japan.
Hey, from Japan. My hood.
Yeah.
Let me hear you out. How do you understand it? Oh, your line dropped. 0302216541. Lawyer Inusa Fusaini, Lawyer Martin Pebu, Lawyer Samson Ladi Ayenini, Lawyer Udru Osain Kwamina is in Accra. Hello, Lawyer Kwamina in Accra.
Hello.
Hello, Kwamina.
Yes, sir.
Let me hear you out. Help me out with this confusion.
With regards to this constitutional issue about John Mahama, I believe the first term, he's done his first term, and the constitution is saying that you only go for 2 terms. And assuming it is even consecutive, on your 2nd term, you still will be sworn into power. Okay? So if even he wins, he goes in for this 2020 and wins. 2021, he'll be sworn in, and that will be the 2nd term that he's going in. I'm clear.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. Yeah, I get where you're coming from. So you think
that's what I have to say about it.
Okay, so you think the 2013 will be taken into account?
The 2013 cannot be taken into account with regards to John Mahama because he would have done his 2nd term. Because he has already done his 1st term.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Even the second, if even he had won the 2nd round, the 2nd time, he'll be sworn in anyway to make the 2nd term.
Okay.
But unfortunately, he couldn't make the 2nd term at the last time.
Yeah.
All right? So should he win for 2020 and 2021, he'll be sworn in to make his 2nd term. So he can't go in for another term again.
Okay, so I'm saying you are saying that they will take his 1st term into account. That's what you're saying. Kissy is on the phone. Hello, Kissy.
Hello, Nana.
Yes, Kissy.
Nana, good evening.
Good evening.
Nana, do with the about.
Yeah, Bobo Humpa.
Well, but the first term of President Mahama ended on the 6th of January 2017, and is that not it?
Well, I'm listening.
So if he is to come again, and win the 2020 election, and I believe he will go for only one term, that will end in 2024. That is what I believe.
That's how you do it. Okay.
But I'm not sure if you lose your first, like if you lose your attempted second term, then you come back again, then you have to go for another 8 years. I'm not sure that should be so. So please, if the Supreme Court people are listening, they should come in and interpret it for us, Nana. Thank you very much, Nana.
Thank you very much, Kisi. And Kisi has a pharmacy shop somewhere. A person elected as president shall, subject to clause 3, if the seat is vacant, of this article, hold office for a term of 4 years, beginning from the date which he was sworn in as president. It's very, very major clause there. And a person shall not be elected to hold office as president of Ghana for more than 2 terms. Clause 1 is saying from the beginning of when you were sworn in as president. Auntie Della is in Accra. Hello.
Yes, Nana, how are you?
Councillor Della, I am very fine. Today everybody's a lawyer.
Okay, then you succeeded in confusing all of us this evening. Anyway, so let's presume that Nana wins the 2020. Does it mean that so he'll be sworn in again? So does it mean that he has to go for another 4-year term?
Well, no, that would be his second term.
So does it mean that should it be in succession or there should be a break? So if there's a break, anybody who comes back, then it means the person will have to do continuous 8 years.
Well, per my understanding, if there's a break, then you have a fresh start.
No, but then the Constitution does not say that.
Well, the Constitution does not say what you are saying either.
Excuse me?
The Constitution does not say what you are saying either.
So then we need to have an interpretation.
Exactly what I'm driving at. Exactly what I'm driving at.
Especially when you are sworn in.
But that's what
I hope
says.
you understand. Well, maybe the lawyers would have to come in.
Yeah, the lawyers are all pinging me in the background and they're calling. Because the clause 1 says...
that anybody who when is sworn in would also have to come again and again and again. I hope you understand.
Well, I also get where you are coming from, but then if you've done your 2 straight years, then you've done your 2 straight years.
Yeah, but that's Constitution like that, is it?
Come again.
I said it's not in the Constitution as you are saying.
Well, it says that you can't be sworn in for 2 times.
Yeah, so if what do you call it, Mahama gets sworn in, let's say either it's 2024, he gets sworn in and it comes in. And then he's done 8 years. So he cannot come back to do another 4 years.
So you are on the school of thought that we'll count the previous...
No, they said you have to count the previous one in addition to whatever you have to. That is if you are lucky to be sworn in.
Councillor Della, thank you very much. But Lawyer John is in Dansuman. Hello, John.
Yeah, Nana. I'm just coming back, but I have a question because I couldn't ask you that the first time. Okay. So it means that John Kufuor and John Rawlings can come back, right?
No, they've done their 2. They've done their 2, so they have expired.
Okay, all right, good. Okay,
so I'm saying that per the letter of the Constitution, when you come, if you do 1 and you come back, the Constitution gives you a fresh start. Obviously, some people are against it. I'm saying, per how I'm reading it, assuming John Mahama is my client, I'll tell the Supreme Court, my client has a fresh start. He can do 2 straight and then go home and retire. 2 straight and go home and retire. But if you put a break in there and he comes back, the lettering sort of gives him a free start or a fresh start. So basically, 2 terms from when he was sworn in. 2 terms from when he was sworn in. 0302216541. Nana, Ghana could amend their constitution to say the same as the American, otherwise as it is. JM has the right to stand and possibly elect. He has the right to 2 times. I remember ex-President Kufuor at the point of leaving office even suggested a 5-year term. From where I sit, the two political parties are even rotating and have nothing to offer for us. This is Nana in Spintex. Well, Samuel is in Medina. Hello, lawyer Samuel.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Well, if you look at your own argument, it's kind of flawed.
Okay.
Because if you come and you serve your 4 terms, and you go for re-election,
yeah,
and you come again, you are sworn in on another date.
Yeah.
You start again for another term. So if you have to stick with your logic, then it means when you come the second time, then it means it's starting afresh. So the first one will not count. But that's not what it says. It says that you have to be sworn in, and you have to serve 2 terms. So regardless of whether it was continuous or not, it's 2 terms.
Based on your assumption or based on the letter we're reading?
Exactly, based on the Constitution. It's 2 terms. It doesn't have to follow. But when you are sworn in, that's 1. When you come the next time and you are sworn in, that's 2. You get sworn in 2 times. Even as a sitting president, you get sworn in when you win the second one, or you just continue. You get sworn in on the second time. So you are sworn in 2 times. When you are sworn in 2 times, that's it.
So you are arguing that it shouldn't follow?
It doesn't have to follow.
It doesn't have to follow.
But it's 2 terms. It doesn't have to follow. Mahama just has 1 more term. When he does that, it's done.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Sure. Kofi is in Mataheko. Hello, Kofi.
Hello, Nana. Good
evening. Lawyer Kofi, let me hear you.
Nana, please. I have a point in the fact that I believe that if we are able to define what a term is, then we will make progress. Now, 66 clause 1 says that a person elected as president shall, subject to clause 3 of this article, hold office for a term of 4 years, beginning from the date on which he is sworn in. Now, when you are sworn in on January 7, it ends when the day before there is another January 7 after 4 years. Is that not it?
That's it.
Exactly. Now, when President Kufuor came to power, after 4 years, in 2004, if I'm right, January 7, 2004, he was sworn in again for the second term, which expires in 2008.
That's it.
Correct or wrong?
Correct.
Exactly. So even under Kufuor's 8 years, he was sworn in twice.
Correct.
There was a significance of the swearing in which began each term again.
Correct.
So that once you are sworn in for the second part, now that is where the 2 terms come. So even when the Constitution says that 2 terms, it's not as if once you are sworn in 2001, it runs through to 2008.
No, but
so that swearing in 2004 begins a second one. So once you've been sworn in once already, then you have 1 more swearing in to qualify as 2 terms. I don't know if you understand my point.
I understand, but this is where I'm breaking, because the guy he's not coming in as a president. He's coming in as an ordinary man to come and stand for president.
Exactly. Regardless, everybody, the Constitution says that everybody shall be sworn in twice only, if you understand the language. Twice.
No, the Constitution doesn't say that.
The Constitution says, okay, you want it in that language. So the Constitution says that a term of office for 4 years, beginning from the date on which he is sworn in.
Thank you.
So, which means each president can be sworn in only twice.
Well, 2 terms. No, it doesn't say you can be sworn in twice. You can serve 2 terms.
No.
It says a person shall not be elected to hold office as president for Ghana more than 2 terms. Yes.
Before 1 term begins, you are sworn in for 1.
Yes.
You are accepted.
Yeah.
Before your second term, you will also be sworn in as 1.
Yeah.
Now, as to whether it is continuous or not, the law is silent on that. So we don't assume.
But we are all assuming now.
No, you are not being fair.
But we are all assuming now.
No, you are not being fair, because he has been sworn in once and 1 term has ended. So he has 1 more term to be sworn in. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, so you are from that school of thought. But Yaya is in Kaswa. Hello, lawyer Yaya.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, my brother, look at our constitution. Like the time the
Reposition yourself.
Yeah. You know that the Constitution says when you act as a president for 2 years and you are re-elected, you cannot come back again. But when you, if it's after 3 years, then you elected, you can come back again. So let's look at the Russian example that you give. And out of Italy, you remember Berlusconi? He was voted in, voted out. When he came back, the first one, you know, the Italian system, when you, the first time you voted, you didn't do the 2 times and you voted out. When you come, you have another 2 terms to do. If you didn't do the 2 terms and you voted out and you come, you have another 2 terms again to do. So I agree with those people who said the Supreme Court must interpret the law to say you can do, when you do 2 straight terms, that's it. You are not coming back again. But when you do one and you terminated and you come back, you have another chance to go for the 2 straight. Then when the Constitution is there, then all of us will be something like that. Otherwise, now, no. Because some of us are
Thank you very much. The line is quite terrible there. But folks, see, let's just look at it. We don't have to use emotions, though. Just look at the letter, and let's not, assume, or this is not based on emotions or assumptions. Just the letter. Just the letter. A person elected as president shall, subject to clause 3 of this article, hold office for a term of 4 years, beginning from the date on which he was sworn in. And then it goes, says, the person shall not be elected to hold office as president of Ghana for more than 2 terms. But I'm going straight to BA because lawyer Bauer is there. Hello, Bauer.
You call me a lawyer, uncle. you tickle me a lot. Sometimes, you know what? Some of the issues you bring up, are so much intriguing and it makes us think a lot. You see, sometimes we in Ghana feel like what we think is the Constitution. We just sit and think that, he has done his 1 term. So when he can... No, we sit and think the Constitution says 2 terms. So that the 2 terms he said is not... he said it with a word, and that word is subject to contest. You understand? So at the end of the day, it is not what you think or your interpretation that work. So we thank God for people like you who bring a topic like this to an intellectual table. If not, somebody will come and take it practical to challenge it, and that will be where we will have the difficulties. Let's wait and see what happens.
Let's wait and see. Let's just discuss this. Nuya is in Valley View. Hello, Nuya.
Hello.
Yes, Council. Yeah. Council, let me hear you. Approach the bench.
Yeah. Well, I seem to agree with you that the term starts when the president is sworn in fresh. That's after the first term. When it's broken, when he starts again, that's the beginning. And so probably he may have the opportunity of having another term. I think because he says from the day he's sworn in, it should be continuous. If the president is sworn in first and it continues, even though he's sworn in his 2nd term, from the day he's sworn in may start from the first term. But when it is broken and he comes,
he has a fresh start.
Yeah, it's a fresher coming from outside.
That's open to debate. That's the big debate. When you go home and come, do you have a fresh start? Or when you are home, it's considered as homework. These are the things that we need to sit down and be bold and brave enough. After so many years and the space, the speed, and with which things are changing, culture and the dynamics, we need to sit down and look at the Constitution and change certain things. We need to be bold enough to change certain things. I'm saying Malaysia has changed theirs 57 times. Maybe it's too much. America in 200 years did 27. Folks, we need to go back and look at the Constitution and make certain things clear, as open as day. We may not have thought about it like that, but here it is. America just thought that, oh, well, every president would do 2 years and go, until they came back and said, nope, let's change it and write it down. Well, that was just a thought-provoking show. That was just a thought-provoking show. And I wanted us to get emotions out of it and what we thought out of it, and just read the letter and see what somebody can do with what it says is written. I would say, listen, my client has got a fresh start. You are saying that, no, my client hasn't got a fresh start, but many, many years ago, he was sworn in Timideka. But the Constitution says from the day he was sworn in as president. Thank you very much for tuning in to That's My Opinion. Until Monday that I come to you. Well, Abeku was on the ones and twos, and he's going to continue to be on the ones and twos. Abeku is going to overdrive you while you are wondering, what is a term and when does it begin? News bulletin is right up. Then after news bulletin, Abeku Sankofi is going to overdrive. Thank you very much, all the lawyers who called in. The case has been adjourned till next Monday.